we doing? Give it a couple of minutes, wait for people to get in. Just entered another position on the DAX for anybody that's been watching me in Telegram. Just got in another one. We got some nice rejection down at the lows there. We got some buyers coming in. This thing's been red all morning. Been a lot of selling coming in, as you can see. We just got a load of buyers starting to come in. We got this rejection and then the buyers started trickling in down here when we got this hammer. So I've entered a position above that high. Last buy stop at the last candle. And it seems to be taking off now. Yeah, sold off hard this morning. Big gap to go for. But we are still inside bar at the minute on this this big candle. So we'll see. A big gap that. So looking for a basically the same as yesterday. Would be nice. How many have we got? It's all got a bit quiet again now. So we got 8 minutes to the open. So just quick overview of news before we get going. Morning back. So yeah, this morning we may have a fairly slow open, although there's been very volatile pre-market. So, but we've got the French services PMI at 8.15, and then the German PMIs at 8.30. So obviously market opens at 8. I suspect the first half an hour might be quite rotational while we're waiting for this. Not sure this morning though, because obviously the amount of selling we've had coming in pre-market, I'm just wondering if they know what's going on already and it's selling off because of that. So difficult. But I would suspect usually when we've got news coming out fairly close to the open, we tend to get a little bit of a rotational morning, as we did yesterday with the German business climate. So we'll see. So we've got those this morning. We've got the PMIs for the pound at 9.30, and then we've got the US dollar PMIs at 2.45. And then obviously later on today we've got Powell talking and Lagarde. So that's the main one I'd be watching later. See if she drops any more hints. I'm sure we'll get some red news flying in on Financial Juice about rate hikes. Oh look, we've already got some. Not red, but she's talking this morning. We are not in panic mode. You've been in panic mode for years, stop lying. So yeah, so basically be watching Lagarde later, 7 o'clock this evening. That's probably going to be the main one that we've got potential to get movement off. I'm not sure if there's audience questions on this one. World Economic Forum. It usually says if they're going to invite questions. It doesn't say they are, so she will probably just say the same stuff. So it might not be a market mover, but we'll see. So keep an eye on those. But yeah, it's PMI day today basically. So all the PMIs dripped out throughout the day, so we should get a lot of decent movement, hopefully across most stuff today. Big one is tomorrow. New Zealand dollar in the morning. I've got 2 New Zealand positions on, ready for that. I'll see how they play out today. I might take one of them off. And then we've got FOMC tomorrow evening. I'm out tomorrow evening, so I'm not going to be around for that. But yeah, big one. FOMC, as usual. It's either absolutely catastrophic or it does absolutely nothing. No idea until it happens. But the vast majority of that comes out in the questions after FOMC, so it's very volatile for about an hour. Then we got Orr speaking, which will obviously be backing up more of what happened in the morning with the rates, but there is the press conference happening afterwards, so anything that Orr says basically in that evening will have come out in the press conference. So although that is red, I wouldn't expect to get an awful lot off of the back of that. So yeah, today PMIs all day, so we got volatility basically due for the day basically, which is good. We like volatility. Without volatility you can't make money. So yeah. Just keeping an eye on this DAX. ADRs, there's nothing today. We've got nothing hit the weeklies at the moment either. So fairly subtle open to the week yesterday. We had a little bit more Swiss franc. I was just looking at this on the 4-hour and the hourly chart. Swiss franc, I was just seeing what happened with the Swissy basically. The Swiss franc, we had a little bit more movement down. Not a lot, but a bit. US dollar CAD went sideways. We just got a reverse alert on that on the hourly. So I've added yesterday evening, late-ish last night, I added another buy down here. So we basically came down, zoom in, you can see what we're doing. We basically came down and took out these lows. And then we spiked down and took out the lows of London in New York and pushed back up again. So I added another position on down here, just to bring the average down on these two. And this morning I added another buy stop. Why is that triggered? They've triggered me in. Ugh, spread. That was annoying. So I added a buy stop up here because I wanted to jump in on a break of the Asian highs. They've obviously just spiked up and I've been taken out with the spread. So it'll be taken in with the spread. So I've got 4 positions on this now. I didn't want to get into this until I'd seen a London break confirmed, but the spread's a bit wide. I got in a bit, obviously put the pending order a bit too close, but never mind. So yeah, so I'm in with a couple more US dollar CADs. We've pulled down nicely. Obviously, we got US dollar news this week. We've got obviously FOMC tomorrow. So I'm looking for a bit of a springboard off the US dollar at some point soon, but not happening at the moment. So got a couple more positions on that. I've also got the 2 New Zealands and the pound odd. So pound odd, I entered one yesterday. On where is it there? On this spike down, I moved it up basically, looking to get into a position. I'm looking for a breakdown basically of this symmetrical triangle. Well, it's not a symmetrical triangle; it's more of a wedgy triangle at the minute. I've got another pending up at these highs. We've got a lovely triple top there. So I've got a sell limit up here. This is the old highs up here. So I'm looking for somewhere around here in this propulsion gap for market to start selling back down again. That's what we've been doing for the last X amount of days. So I'm looking for it to sell back down from up here. Hopefully we'll get it. If we don't get it, we don't get it. But ultimately, looking for this symmetrical triangle to break down probably tomorrow on the New Zealand dollar. But we'll see. And I've got 2 New Zealands on. I've got a New Zealand Swiss short, which is working nicely at the moment, and I've got New Zealand US, which I've just taken yesterday as a first position. So just looking for these to carry on their merry way. Markets open. No volatility, a little bit of buying, not a lot. Yeah, it's not too bad. So a little spike up at the open. So I'm just, whoops, opening up my other, my tablet. Just want to have my other platform open. One sec. So I'm just managing multiple platforms. So I've got different trades on at different levels on different platforms. So I'm just concentrating on all of them. I've just banked $400 on the funded account. I'm just shy of break even on 2 other positions where we are. So I'm just toying with the idea of shutting those down. Or letting them run. We've got a long way to go up to here, but I don't think we're going to get it at the open. So I'm going to wait for this candle to close. I get a feeling we're probably going to sit here this morning, but they may run for it ahead of the news. So I'm just keeping a close eye. Morning, Diamond. Morning, David. Morning, Peter. Morning, Ladder. Might be a stupid question, but what is the MQL4 programming language based on? It's not based on HTML. C++? It's I don't know. That's one for Google. Go and have a look. All programming languages are very, very similar. It's just logic. So I'm just watching this at the at the highs. Just putting back into mid-range. Slowed down. So that was the initial flurry of orders. I don't think we're going to get too much more. I'm just my brain is trying to decide whether or not to shut the other positions out I've got running, just in case. I'm just waiting to see if there's any more buying coming in. Okay, yeah, we are saying we're struggling a little bit here, so I'll just leave that. Yeah, so Ladder, you're So basically, MQL5 is based on. There's a lot of similarities with C++, basically. So if you're thinking of wanting to learn MQL5, C+ is a good course to take. But there are MQL5 courses you can take, which will just teach you basically how to program in MQL5. But most programming languages are if then logic based. So any kind of programming, really. HTML is totally different. HTML is not really a programming language, it's a markup. Sound is very quiet. It shouldn't be. Sound levels are outputting at the same as normal. Is anybody else finding the sound a bit quiet? Looks like I might want to go for a run this morning. let's just have a quick look at the DAX where we are. So yesterday, you can see the market at the moment is very very undecided. We've got spinning top after spinning top after spinning top at the moment with very long wicks on. So we're not sure where we're going at the moment. Heading down, that's really the target low, somewhere down here. If it's going to want to go down, but I suspect, based on what we did with the US indices yesterday, we'll probably want to retrace more up into this candle here. I'm thinking we're going to buy up this week. Which this gap is just really nice, because I think that's where we're going to be sort of heading, but it seems to be selling. It seems really heavy this morning for some reason. Across all indices, there's a lot of selling coming in on the US as well. But hopefully this is just the initial push down, and then we're going to basically put in a nice big green candle like that. We'll watch that. Keep an eye on that. So I've basically got 3 positions on at the minute. I've had one on this morning which is taken out. Where are we? So 0.5 down this morning, and got 3 running. So got 2% risk on in total. Right, let's have a look at where we are with everything else. US dollar Swiss. I'll look at US dollar Swiss in a minute. ADRs, we've got nothing. There's nothing much close either today. Fairly quiet open across the board this morning. We didn't get an awful lot of movement overnight in the Aussies, so fairly sideways with all the Australasian pairs overnight. A little bit of downside on the New Zealand's, which is good because I'm short. Yeah, so there's nothing hit ADR at the moment. We had a few ADR hits yesterday. New Zealand dollar, US dollar got up to 101 off of 87. So there's a few ADR hits yesterday which were quite good. They all kind of have played out. So any of those you got into yesterday should be pretty home and dry on those. On the hourlies, we're totally flat. There's nothing there at the moment. And on the 4 hours, we've got a few, US dollar Swiss being the main one, which is why I keep saying US dollar Swiss. So we've obviously got a lot of news coming from this evening and tomorrow. That's when it all kicks off. So I was expecting a fairly quiet open, really coming down the DAX. Back down to lows again. Just seeing what happens when we come these lows. One sec. Let's just look at the DAX. Down at lows. Good place to buy if you're not in already down here. I'm not going to add it to this. So I've got 3 positions. I'm not adding to 3 positions in drawdown. But just seeing if we get any buyers start to step in down here, or if we get a large amount of selling into this area and we don't move down, which means that's all being absorbed. All those sellers are being absorbed by the buyers, which means we should get a little buy rally. So just watching to see how much selling goes into this low. Not a lot. I'm just buying one on my other account down at these lows. Okay, that's taken up nicely. Good. Right, sorry. Carry on. Where was I? 4 hours. Yeah, so there's nothing on the hourlies. 4 hours, we've got US dollar Swiss. So yeah, news I was talking about, wasn't I? So the bulk of the news kicks off tomorrow morning, and then we've got FOMC, then we've got GDP, and then we've got PCE. So yesterday was fairly quiet, obviously, from a news perspective. We didn't get an awful lot of movement in the market yesterday, which is why the hourly RSIs are flat. We've got a couple of ADRs hit. Today we are kicking off at 8:30 with this news. So as soon as the German PMIs are out of the way, this is where the volatility should all start to kick in from today. So we'll see some RSI extensions ahead of FOMC. I was expecting the US dollar to move a little bit more, but it hasn't. So I was hoping they were going to sort of try and manipulate it and move it ahead of FOMC, but they haven't really done an awful lot with it. So US dollar Swiss is very nicely extended at the moment. The Swiss franc, obviously, we know has had, sorry, I just got to get out of a couple of positions. Those two positions I just took down at the shorts and closing. So I took 2 positions down here on the funded account. I've just closed those out. It's $400. Yeah, so US dollar Swiss obviously has had this big push down based off the Swiss franc strength. We had 2 days of solid Swiss franc buying where it just went crazy. Everything tanked against the Swissy. I wanted to see how we opened with the Swiss franc this week, because we had that pause day on Friday where we just went sideways. So I wanted to see what the Swissy did yesterday. And it had another down day, but it was nowhere near as dramatic as we had last week. So it looks like there is still some strength in the Swiss franc. This all coincided with a sell-off in the stock market, i.e. people pulling the money out of stocks and put it into the Swiss franc, which drives obviously US dollar Swiss down. So I'm looking basically for a potential entry long US dollar Swiss, but I'm waiting for the Swiss franc to kind of weaken. Nice buying on the DAX. And obviously this morning it looks like we're opening with another flurry. This is US dollar coming down actually rather than Swiss franc. No, this is Swiss franc powering up. Yeah, this is Swiss franc strength as well. So I'm looking to get in on this long. The next level of support is down here, and then obviously failing that we'll be coming down into these lows here. So there's not really anything to stop this all the way here, and obviously we've got FOMC, so I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with this. What I was hoping to see was a little bit of strength coming through on the Swissy, or well, weakness on the Swissy and strength on everything else, but that didn't happen yesterday. So it's a tricky one at the moment to know what to do with this. I'm looking for an entry on it, but this accumulation here is kind of a fairly good spot to start looking for an entry. We're very nicely extended on the 4 hour, which is why I'm looking to get in, but it's hard to pick a spot to enter. So I think what I'm going to do is watch ADR on it today, and if we get an entry at ADR, in fact what I might do is just put a little buy limit as a starter position down at ADR, and look to try and get in with a bounce down there. That will be the 72 basically. So start buying up around about here, because if we buy up here and they push it further down on FOMC, we're going to be running straight into these areas down here where we can scale in ready for that bounce. Because if we get all the way down here without having any kind of pullback, this thing's going to be shot and embedded all the way down here. We're going to get a really nice pullback on that move. So so getting ready to get in US dollar Swiss. It's nicely extended already. We did get down below 20 last week, but obviously they put another leg in on the Swiss franc. That's what I said, don't get into the Swiss franc last week. Want to wait and see what the Swiss franc's doing. But this area here was where I was thinking, yeah, this could be it. But they went with another leg the day after. So I'm just hovering, waiting to jump in on this one. Euro US dollar is nicely extended. I know some people got in this one this morning. We are just heading back up into this resistance ADR, so that's what I'll be looking for. So potentially a good short opportunity building on the Euro US dollar. A lot of these are US dollar based, so you just got to be a bit careful you don't overexpose yourself on any of these. I'm exposed twice on the US dollar already. That's my limit. I don't go any more than that. And I've got 2 New Zealands on, so just be a bit careful about exposure. It's very easy to get overexposed because you've got lots of things pushing at the same time. Morning Tammy, morning Elroy. So yeah, nice looking opportunity for shorts. If we do get up to ADR today on that, that's beautiful, nice entry. We've got a few areas of potential support and resistance that we can use. If we do get up there and it decides to go further, we'll be up in the 24.72 area, and we've got this area up here, so you've got nice half ADR, scale in 3 positions, come back down from there. Monthly range on the CAD Swiss. Monthly's a bit late now, we're towards the end of the month, so so Euro US dollar is looking fairly good for shorts. Again, I don't know. I can't overexpose myself on it. But yeah, anything short on the euro. Euro CAD as well. Again, Canadian dollar expecting to be strong, waiting for that to power up. So Euro CAD is just coming up to this beautiful support resistance area here. So again, that is very, very resistive if we get to ADR today. So watch these two. Watch all of these actually. US dollar today. And the CAD. So if we can get ADR hits on these 3 today, there'd be lovely little entries, I think. So watching ADR on that for a short opportunity. Drop down lower time frames, wait for the reversal alert. Obviously reversal alert, when we get up there, will be on this candle here. So that will be your entry. Swiss yen, I'm still steering clear of these yens at the moment. Don't like the yens at all, especially the Swissy, because obviously the Swissy's powering up. But you can see there's a little bit of strength still in the yen. With the Swiss franc is very, very strong, and it has made headway, but hasn't gone parabolic. Which you would expect off of the strength of that Swissy. So we've had a strong yen at the same time. Really not sure about this yen still, any of these yen pairs. They are all going the way I want them to go. I'm expecting the yen to weaken and I'm expecting it to push up. But I wouldn't want to take this short at the minute because I don't think we've got any yen strength coming. But we have got Kuroda talking this week. So and again, this is tomorrow. You know, this is all orange news, but anything that comes out of Kuroda's mouth at the moment is very important because they are at some point going to make a monetary policy change, and they're notorious for just coming out and saying, we're going to do this tomorrow. Well, not so much tomorrow, but very short notice, very tentative, the yen. So we get stuff happening very, very fast. 8:15, we've just had the French PMIs, as expected. No move. Unless that was the French PMI move. So that's good. So we're as expected there. These are all indicators for each other. So you would expect the services PMI for Germany to be roughly as expected as well. Manufacturing, we obviously haven't had any yet, so we'll probably come out as expected here. It's going to hinge on the manufacturing PMIs as to what happens with the indices. if anything, obviously. So Swiss yen, not really that interested in the Swissy at the minute, in the yen rather, and CAD Swiss. Burke, I'm looking to buy CAD Swiss. Yeah, so CAD Swiss is a very nice extension as well. Either or of these, don't take both, take one or the other. Yeah, try not to get overexposed on the Swiss franc, and the US dollar and the CAD are our two strong currencies, or potentially strong currencies, moving forward at the moment. So if you get into both of these and the Swiss franc just powers up, you're just obviously going to go straight into drawdown on both. We're at a good level here. We've got nice peaks basically to concentrate on from a support perspective. Oops. So we've got that one there. Whoops. We've got that one there, and we've got that one there. So we've got these three levels coming up that we can use for support resistance. We are very nicely extended, but if you look at this, it looks exactly the same. Look at this here. We've got this little M and then a drop. Yeah, look at the US dollar Swiss. Yeah, we've got this drop, push up, drop. So it's the same thing, because obviously all of these have been driven by the Swiss franc. We are expecting the CAD to stay strong off of oil. So anywhere down here in the 24.72 zone is a good area to start buying, start building a position long. Nice extension. Yeah, should be looking for a good strong push to the upside from down here somewhere. Very difficult to pick a bottom and a low on it, but we are just at the moment down double bottoming. So you can watch this, see if we get any reversal alerts on M5. There, that could be a nice entry, starter entry, but it has potentially got further, obviously, to drop, and we've got this strong Swiss franc still at the moment. So we could have another day, basically another session of Swiss franc strength. If we have another session of Swiss franc strength, I think that'll be it. So like I say, if we get down to ADRs on any of these today, any of these 4-hour extensions, if they get down to ADRs today, or hit their ADRs respectively for shorts or longs, whichever one, I think they're all good to go, all of them. But I've got quite a bit of exposure on at the minute, so I can't take too much more on. I've got no euro on at the minute, but I'm really not looking to pile myself up because I'm off on holiday next week and I don't really want to have a load of positions I've got to manage, but we'll see. So going back to the DAX, we are accumulating, as I suspected this morning. We're just waiting for those PMI figures. Fully expect I might need a couple of additional EU entries if it pushes up further. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've got an ADR on this. The 72 is bang in the middle of these sort of areas we should be looking at. Actually, that's not a very good area, is it? Why have I got that line on there? That's from a different chart, isn't it? I mean, it's there. Somewhere around there. So yeah, just roughly there. So if you're in now, down here somewhere, you've got roughly half an ADR to there, half an ADR. So potentially you could easily build 4 positions on that. By the time you've built 4 positions, you're going to be ready for an elevator shaft. Right, 4 minutes until the German PMIs. Stick Mr. Talkative on. Just turn the volume up a bit. So we can hear the PMI figures. Getting very far this morning. I'm only 0.44 ADR from entry, so I've got plenty of room, yeah. A bit more selling coming through. Market feels very, very heavy this morning. This gap down has done nothing but feel heavy since the exchange opened. We've really struggled to make any headway this morning. So these lows are going to be quite critical. If we break out down through these lows, potentially we may need to push down for another leg. The thing that worries me with the DAX is I'm not quite sure where we're headed if we're going short. Long drop, but we are holding the session low. So we've got this propulsion here. So this may act as a support. It's just 140. You know, this 14,000 level. We just seem to be playing at this 14,000 level so much at the moment.
German S&P manufacturing PMI flash first.
1 minute. So yeah, just hovering constantly. Right, I'm just going to take a speculative long on the funded account with a stop underneath these lows. Obviously I've got that position on already on here. And I'm putting a pending order above these highs. Closed out the DAX with a small profit. You closed out the DAX with a small profit. That's the important thing. PMIs are lower than forecast.
Spot 7, 54, spot 7, that's higher than forecast of 50.
Higher than forecast, sorry.
Services, 56.3, 56.3 is lower than forecast of 57, spot 1. And then composite, 54, spot 6, 54, spot 6 is higher than forecast, 53, spot 9.
Just higher. So the service was lower, manufacturing was higher. So manufacturing is the one that's important because that's the one we haven't had. We were expecting that from the French. So that's good, nice. So I'm just going to close out some profit on those lower positions. I'm going to close that one and I'm going to let 2 run on the other account. So those positions I took one down there, I took one on the break of that high. I've just closed those out up here. I also had 2 other positions on from there. I've closed one and I've got a runner running from there on the funded account, that is. Not bad. Nice start to the morning. Not many people can make $1,000 at breakfast. Perks of the job. So I've got a runner now, running up to gap fill. Doesn't always go that way, obviously. I'm just going to close one out, just closing this one at these highs, just in case we double top. I want to get something in the bank, basically, to get rid of that. Just wiped away that loss from this morning, the first position loss. Because I've just gathered up a third position at the highs. And we are feeling very heavy this morning. We're not getting any buyers coming in here at the moment. We got that buying off of the news, but there's nothing else. Yeah. Just getting ready to close this lot. I don't like it. Got 2 minutes left on this candle. This is rejecting quite hard at the highs. There's no buyers coming in. We've just basically double topped. So not looking good, is it? Sellers starting to come in on the US indices. I was kind of hoping we were going to get that run off the PMIs and just get going, but we're not. We have got GBP PMIs at 9:30. The DAX won't be waiting for the UK figures, but I'm just surprised we're not getting any movement. So market structure at the moment, obviously, we've got all these lows. So we've just basically put in bullish market structure, but we've also double topped. So at the moment, the market's just confused, closing it minus 0.2. Started to sell off. There's more sellers than buyers at the moment in the market. You see, it feels heavy. It just feels heavy. Feels like it wants to come down. Doesn't want to do this morning. At the moment. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this. If we break back above these highs, I'll probably reconsider, because that will give us new bullish market structure to the upside. And in which case then I think we'll probably slow grind back up to this gap during the morning. If we don't manage to get these highs broken, I fancy downside today. I'm just putting a stop on that runner that I've got. It's $200 risk. Doesn't look good, does it? Okay, so Euros had a nice push, but again, rejected those highs. So good fade short on the euro. Jumping on a reverse alert short. Got a big gap on the US indices as well. This is why I'm just stopped out on that runner. That's why I'm bullish at the moment. We've got gaps across the board to fill. So I'm still keeping my eye long on this, but like I say, the market just doesn't feel like it wants to go up today. But we've got a very good valid reason. So if we don't do this morning, I'll be keeping a close eye on New York. If we can get down to these lows, which we will do, if we're going to go short. Just realised we haven't got the gap fill from yesterday on the US indices, have we? So yeah, the S&P filled, the Nasdaq filled, but the Dow hasn't. State of confusion today. Still quite fancy a buy down here, but I want to see this bullish. Has anybody got any other FX pairs they want to have a look at, other than the ones I've covered? There's not a lot else out there that I'm interested in at the minute, apart from what I've got on. I just really want to buy this. I've got a feeling this is going to start going green in a minute. Just looking at the Dow's doing the same. We're teetering at the lows here. We keep coming and retesting these lows. We're not able on any of these to get through at the minute. But equally, we're not able to get up above the highs either. So. So we've got nice bearish engulfing. Off the back of that, so the PMI figures pushed up. We've got nothing but sellers stepping in up there. Enough sellers to give us a bearish engulfing here. So ordinarily, I would say look for a short below that low of that candle, but you are selling directly into support. It's just not, there's no market structure at the minute today, so it's just not really easy to get into any positions. I'm quite surprised it's so slow. I'm going to try a short on it, I think. Still getting sellers, just trickling in every now and again. Just turn the news guy off. Uh, 9:30. We might be waiting. I don't know. We may be waiting for the UK PMIs before going anywhere today. Not quite sure why, but. Okay, gathered up two very close together there, but I might get out one of those. It's a little bit too close. Okay, retesting the lows. So looking for a break and pop out the lows. There we go. There's the pop. So we're just eating up all the orders down there, the buy orders. See if we can get sustained selling to get us through this level and hold this level. If we can get this level broken, we're off to the downside, but I'm really not sure where we're going on the DAX. Long way to go down to this level. So this is the 14,000 we're fighting over, and we seem to be, as I say, we seem to be fighting over this 14,000 level constantly. Every time we get here, we have this battle. Market really just doesn't want to go up or down at the moment here. So I'm just getting ready, just hovering over the close button on this. Still got 10 seconds on this candle. What I'm worried about is a very quick retracement back up on the next candle open. Because we've broken and held. I want to see some sellers coming in. There we go. A few more, please. One question, can you double click on a symbol in your market watch and the corresponding chart will open immediately, or is this a plugin or indicator? No, you can drag though, just so you just click and drag. Yeah, so click, hold, drag. Click, hold, drag. Don't double click. If you want to open a chart quickly from the market watch, you right click chart window and that will open your default template. So right click chart window, or if you want to change the existing chart, you just click and drag. So I've got this this high, this line here you can see is this high. Which is the hourly candle, basically down. It sort of corresponds with this low as well. So I'm just watching this level. I'm just trying to pick somewhere that potentially we could find support to the downside, but I can't really see anywhere obvious that we're heading forward to the downside. Obviously, apart from these lows, which is just seems a long way away, considering we've got a big gap to fill. But It's going to break even average on these. There's no volatility. There's not enough. We're getting a lot of we're getting flurries of orders which are just basically making tiny little movements, and they're all getting retraced really quick. So you either need to get in with conviction and say, right, I'm taking one trade short with a fairly decent lot size, or you need to scale in and get out very fast, like with 0.3s, 0.4s, and just try and grab little bits and pieces on momentum. It's horrible today. New Zealand dollar's coming down nice. Oops. Don't think I'm going to get that today, but that's 0.5%. If we can get down there today, which I doubt, I'm going to take that New Zealand dollar Swiss off, because I've got the New Zealand dollar US running, and I don't really want both of these running ahead of the New Zealand rate announcement tomorrow. This isn't going anywhere. I'm just going to take this 0.2. So that line I've got drawn here, it's 13,956. It's basically this candle here. So I'm looking for them to come and just test this level. It's just a level we've been testing over and over again in the past. So I'm just looking to see this where we're heading, and this is the only place I can think of. But it's just taking so long, so slow. When we get down here, or anywhere, I mean, there's such a long way to go, obviously today, but I'm not quite sure why we're so slow, but obviously this is what I'm looking for today. So I'm looking for, on a daily candle, stop changing the wrong chart. I'm looking to paint something like this today. So this is, we're wicking down now, basically. We're just creating this down wick at the minute. So looking for somewhere around here to start buying up to come and get the gap fill done. And obviously then it can pull back off the highs if it wants to and put another spinning top in. But I'm just looking for an area down here somewhere to try and get in along. But I need to be supported by buyers, and at the minute we're just not getting any buying coming through. We're just getting intermittent buying with more intermittent selling. So sellers are obviously in control at the moment, but so watching this level, for signs of some price action. So bullish engulfing, some hammers, long wicks to the downside that we can use as a signal to springboard back up here. Failing that, looking obviously to come down to this double bottom at 138.46. I'm not going to sell it down to there because I've got a bullish bias, so I'm going to wait for it to get down to here. If it gets down to there, and then I'm going to start to buy it. So I'm not going to be a seller. I don't want to be a seller this morning with this whacking great gap in play. So okay, so I'm going to set up a couple of alerts just to let me know when we're getting down to these lows. Apart from that, this thing's not moving today. We are a slug. Can't make money in a slug. 0.15. There's some buyers. So just going to keep an eye. I don't really want to take it from here. Not enough. I might leave it till the Nasdaq this afternoon. We got some buyers, so we basically just rejected these lows again there. So we've bought back up into that area. If we wick test now here, if we pull back down and just retest somewhere down here, and then buy back up, and I see some decent buying coming in, I'll look to buy. But I'll just take a single position with a stop under there. Didn't quite test that, did we? Didn't get there. Is this it? So it's visualizing where we are now. That candle there is pretty much what I'd be looking for. Is that far enough down? Don't know. Doesn't seem strong enough to me at the minute. I don't think this is it. I'm going to leave it for the morning, I think, at the moment. I don't want to jump in here. It's just not, everything's too slow. This is not a bad this bullish engulfing is not a bad trade. Basically, we've just we've tested this multiple times. We've now tried with this kind of like accumulation, price discovery, not interested. Okay, now we're going to try and do a price discovery to the upside and see if we can get this gap fill done. So logically, this is actually a good place to be buying. Stop under the lows. It's just not enough liquidity at the moment, it seems, to actually get anywhere. All this buying we get coming in, we get these little tiny flurries and then sells back down again. Up again and then sells back down again. So there's no sustained buying in the market. If this was algorithmic, i.e. the banks and institutions executing their orders, we'd see this buying come in, make new highs, and then we'd have silence. And then another buying rally, and then silence, and then another buying rally. We're getting the little buying rallies coming in, but it fades straight back down. Now it's starting. See, now I'm talking about what I'm looking for. It's actually doing it. But so that's what we are at the minute, and I hate these situations with expanding ranges. Very difficult to trade an expanding range. But if we can break these highs, market structure is that's your new peak formation low, put in a new high. Look for pullback longs if we break this high. If we don't break this high and we pull back into here, we're just basically accumulating. So the decision to make this morning is, are we going to do range bound and start selling the highs and buying the lows, or is this new peak formation low that we can buy on? Not enough information for me to make a decision on yet, so I'm going to leave it. What's everybody else think? It's a hard one this morning. Whippy. I was expecting the PMIs really to shake it up, but it's just not done it. Haven't had the reaction I was looking for. We got half an hour until the pound PMIs. So if the market is waiting for those, that's when we're going to start to get some action. If we don't get any action there, I guess we're waiting for the New York Open, basically. New York Open will probably be quite quiet as well, because we've got PMIs at 2:45, market opens at 2:30, so the first 15 minutes is probably going to be range bound at the open. RSI low on US dollar Swiss. On the hourly, so we are still pushing down on the US dollar Swiss. So we're heading down into my buy zone. ADR. When in doubt, go with the trend. Yeah, that's the trouble at the moment, though. What's the trend on the DAX at the minute? I ain't got a clue. I mean, it's bearish, obviously, overall, but at the moment, it's a big confusing mess, isn't it? Okay, we've got some buyers, real buyers starting to step in now by those things. So, so that was the buy down there. Missed it. Never mind. So be careful at these highs if you're going to take it today. There's plenty of room, but it's not very strong. So you this is the sort of trade, once you've got this breakout here, you want to look for a retest of this level or a 50%-ish move back into this range to start buying it up. but keep a fairly decent stop on these because this is so slow at the minute, and any sellers start to rock in here, you're going to find you're going to get a down candle very easily. It just feels really heavy, so any sellers that come in are quite possibly just going to eat up all the buy orders very quick. But as I say, overall, I want to short it, but I really want to short it from here. And I want to long it from here. And at the moment, just today's the wrong day. Today isn't the day I want to be trading. I want to get in when we get up there, and I want to get in down here. And I'm not sure today. I've got a feeling today we're just going to kind of mosey on through the middle. Anyway, can't really trade it at the minute. Burke, nice move on the pound odd. Oh, it missed me, look. Missed me. So very big Asian range on the pound odd this morning. I'll say not very big, but it's decent sized range. So you're still, obviously London, you're still inside the Asian range at the minute. But yeah, see some sellers coming in now. Look. To me, this is bearish. Yeah, rejected the highs, made a new low. This is a pullback, short. But it's just too slow. It's just too slow. Yeah, nice move down. I'm obviously in down here, so waiting for this 4 hour. Just waiting. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where it can't do that anymore. I'm just going to do one of those. So I'm looking for a sell. Oh, so annoying. So annoying. Always does that. Right, so pound odd short. Should be too short, but didn't get me. New Zealand dollar Swiss I'm holding short at the minute. New Zealand dollar US dollar I've got 1 on, and US dollar CAD I've got 4 on now. Watching this US dollar CAD this morning. We haven't got a lot of strength on the US dollar as yet. I'm not really expecting the strength to come through until tomorrow, but we have got PMI this afternoon. So we might find if they're going to rotate the US dollar today, the PMI is when they will probably buy it up, because obviously they're pushing it down this morning. So be looking for at market open this afternoon some buys on the US dollar. So if this comes down towards the lows, I'll be looking for it to buy back up. This afternoon, we've got a nice big strong buy candle that we're tapping into at the moment. We've had a reversal alert on the hourly, so this is basically a reversal alert retest. But again, it's just, we are very sideways at the minute. So yeah, not a lot going on, is there, this morning? Bit dull. Right. So I'll be back tomorrow morning. Watch out for the PMIs. Watch out for Lagarde. Don't think she's got questions, so I don't think anything will happen off that. But if there are questions, potentially we could do. This is the main mover. So the market really kicks off tomorrow morning with the New Zealand dollar rates. As soon as those New Zealand dollar rates are out of the way, the market will know what it can do with its New Zealand dollar transactions. Therefore, it will then start executing orders across the board. So we should see a good volatile Asian session tomorrow morning. We've got Lagarde speaking again tomorrow morning. ECB Financial Stability Review, or Instability Review as it should now be called, is tomorrow morning as well. We've got Kuroda speaking as well tomorrow. That could well change, but I think that is at the financial conference. So That is a scheduled time, so that should be on time. And then durable goods again ahead of market open, and then tomorrow is FOMC. So things should start to shake up tomorrow, but at the moment, this morning's a bit of a dud. So just waiting for something to kick the market into action at the minute. Okay, anybody got any questions coming to the Telegram group? I shall be in there. I think I'm just going to give this a miss this morning unless I see anything obvious. So I'll be looking for basically double bottom bounces. If it pulls back down into there, if we get any bullish engulfings, I'll probably take a bullish engulfing off the double bottom and try it with a tight stop. If we break these highs on the DAX this morning, I will, and I mean break them, close outside, not just wick through. I want it to close above this high. If we can do that and then it pulls back, I'll then take an opportunity for a long as it's pulling back with a stop again underneath this low. So it's going to have to be a fairly wide entry to try and get back up into here, and then I'll add a couple of positions with a view to getting this gap fill done this morning or today at some point. The rate it's going at the moment, it's unlikely we're going to get it done this morning. It's just really, really slow. But watch 9:30 after the pound PMIs have come out. We may see the action coming in after the pound PMIs, maybe just waiting for that release. But at the moment, as you can see, there's no volatility on anything at all. So we are waiting for something, not quite sure what. All right, so I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time. Anything you need, come in the Telegram group. Oh, excuse me. Questions on indicators, any strategy, anything like that. Always in there. Links coming up in a minute if you want to know that. And there's a link in the description as well. So I should be babysitting these today. I've got no other pendings set. I also have. Oh yeah, I got that pound odd which hasn't been hit. And I've got the US dollar Swiss. So yeah, US dollar Swiss is the only other thing I'm looking to get into today. If we get an ADR hit. So I'm just going to get in at ADR on that. We've had a big run down on that. So that's due. It's due a bounce. But I want to get in at the extremes. I don't want to get in here. But equally, if you do want to get in, you can watch this on M5, wait for a reversal alert, and then or a retest of the reversal alert. At some point, we are going to get some US dollar strength coming through. All right, have a good one. Good luck if you're going to trade the DAX. Good luck if you're going to trade the DAX. It's just not going anywhere. But I'll be in the Telegram group, so see me in there if you need to. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50. Have a good day.